Profit margins are a crucial concept in the world of business and finance, serving as a key indicator of a company's profitability and overall financial health. To understand profit margins, we first need to break down what profit is. Profit, at its core, is the difference between the revenue a business generates and the costs associated with running that business. Simply put, it's what you have left over after you've paid all your expenses. Now, profit margins take this concept a step further by expressing profit as a percentage of revenue, allowing for easier comparisons across different companies, industries, or even time periods. There are three main types of profit margins that we typically discuss: gross profit margin, operating profit margin, and net profit margin. Each of these margins provides unique insights into a company's financial performance and efficiency. Let's start with gross profit margin. This margin measures the difference between revenue and the cost of goods sold, or COGS. COGS includes all the direct costs associated with producing a product or service, such as materials and labor. To calculate the gross profit margin, you take your gross profit, which is revenue minus COGS, and divide it by your total revenue. Then, you multiply that result by 100 to express it as a percentage. This margin is particularly useful for understanding how efficiently a company is producing its goods. A high gross profit margin indicates that a company is retaining a significant amount of revenue after covering its production costs, which is a positive sign for its profitability. Conversely, a low gross profit margin might suggest that a company is struggling to manage its production costs effectively, or that it's operating in a highly competitive market where it cannot charge higher prices. Next, we move on to operating profit margin. This margin takes into account not only the cost of goods sold, but also all of the operating expenses that a company incurs while running its business, such as rent, utilities, salaries, and marketing costs. To calculate the operating profit margin, you take your operating profit, revenue minus both COGS and operating expenses, and divide it by your total revenue, again multiplying by 100 to get a percentage. This margin provides a more comprehensive view of a company's profitability, as it reflects how well a company is managing its overall operations. A higher operating profit margin indicates that a company is efficient in managing its operating expenses relative to its revenue, which is essential for long-term sustainability. Finally, we have the net profit margin, which is often regarded as the most comprehensive measure of a company's profitability. The net profit margin accounts for all expenses, including operating expenses, interest, taxes, and any other costs that may be incurred. To calculate the net profit margin, you take your net profit, revenue minus all expenses, and divide it by your total revenue, multiplying by 100 to express it as a percentage. This margin provides a clear picture of how much profit a company retains from its total revenue after all expenses have been accounted for. A high net profit margin indicates that a company is not only generating revenue, but also effectively managing its costs and expenses, leading to greater profitability. Conversely, a low net profit margin may signal financial difficulties or inefficiencies within the company. Understanding profit margins is not just about crunching numbers. It's about gaining insights into a company's operational efficiency and financial health. Investors and analysts often use profit margins to compare companies within the same industry. For example, if Company A has a gross profit margin of 60% and Company B has a gross profit margin of only 30%, it suggests that Company A is better at controlling its production costs or has more pricing power in the market. However, it's essential to consider the context. Different industries have varying average profit margins, and what might be considered a good margin in one sector could be underwhelming in another. For instance, technology companies often have higher profit margins compared to retail businesses, which typically operate on thinner margins due to high competition and lower pricing power. Profit margins can also fluctuate over time due to various factors, such as changes in market conditions, shifts in consumer preferences, or fluctuations in input costs. For example, if the cost of raw materials rises significantly, a company may see its gross profit margin decrease unless it can pass those costs on to consumers through higher prices. Similarly, economic downturns can lead to reduced consumer spending, affecting revenue and, consequently, profit margins. Moreover, businesses often strive to improve their profit margins through various strategies. This can include reducing production costs through more efficient manufacturing processes, optimizing supply chains, or implementing cost-cutting measures in other areas of the business. Companies may also seek to increase their profit margins by enhancing product offerings, improving brand positioning, or investing in marketing to drive higher sales prices. It's important to note that while profit margins are valuable indicators, they should not be the sole measure of a company's performance. Other financial metrics, such as return on equity, return on assets, and overall revenue growth, also play significant roles in assessing a company's health and potential. Additionally, external factors such as economic conditions, regulatory changes, and market trends can have profound impacts on a company's profitability, making it essential for stakeholders to consider a holistic view of the business. In summary, profit margins are vital tools for understanding a company's profitability and operational efficiency. By analyzing gross, operating, and net profit margins, stakeholders can gain insights into how well a company is managing its costs relative to its revenue. Whether you are an investor evaluating potential opportunities, a business owner looking to improve your financial performance, or simply someone interested in the world of finance, grasping the concept of profit margins is essential for navigating the complexities of the business landscape.